Alright, so our last demo is talking about some elements. We have the element iron here. So you can notice that iron is a metal. It is these brown little shavings. It's shiny in places. This dark color doesn't really show off its shine, but it's a metal, so a common characteristic or a physical property is shiny. This here we have sulfur. It's noted by its very distinct yellow coloring. It also has a fire or kind of a rotten egg smell, and that's because rotten eggs give off sulfur when they go bad. So we have these two things. A couple other things that we can note is that the iron itself is magnetic, which we can test with this little magnet. So we can show you nice little magnet we've got here. I'm going to use a filter paper to help. If we place it over like this, over the two substances, we notice that the iron is going to start reacting to the magnet, but the sulfur is not. So we can even pick up quite a bit of our iron. There we go. But we really can't pick up anything over here in the sulfur. It's not even moving at all. Okay, so these are elements. They are pure substances because it is just the element there. If we were to combine them and mix them, we may come up with a substance that looks like this, where literally I've just taken about the same amount of this, poured it in, and about the same amount of this, poured it in, and just given it a little stir with a spoon. So you just kind of mixed it up a little bit. Now we still see that slight yellow color. If you were to smell this, it would smell just like the rotten eggs that we had from the sulfur. You can see the little colorings of the iron shavings in there. And let's test to see if it held on to the magnetic property that iron has. So let's put it in here. Well, look at that. We've got a nice little grouping of iron. We can probably set that down over there. Maybe pick up a little more from our little mixture. Yeah. So we were able to separate it a little bit based off of the fact that the iron is magnetic and the sulfur was not. So we have some slight separation through there. So this is just a mixture. Both the sulfur and the iron held on to their physical properties, even though we gave them a good mix together. This is the last thing that I want to talk about. So we've got this one, and then they're the same thing. So let's go ahead and zoom in on these. Okay. Now the first thing right off the bat you'll probably pick up is the color. It's very shiny. It's often referred to as fool's gold. And if I pick it up, maybe zoom in on it a little bit, you can see that it's kind of got quite a bit of shine to it. This one still has a shine, but it's not like the crystal formations that this one does. This one was brought in a kit, you know, like a rock kit. I borrowed these from our earth science teacher. This one was actually found around here, so they just polished this one up a little bit, but they're the same thing. So to get this, we took a mixture of the sulfur and iron, and we heated it. We gave it enough energy to form bonds. So this is sulfur or iron sulfide, which is a compound, versus the straight iron element and the sulfur element. So with this, we know that we do have the slight coloring. It does not have the iron scent. The other big major property that sulfur lost when it became bonded is that this is what we use in fireworks, and this is extremely explosive. Whereas these rocks, duds. They're not going to do anything at all. So because we've made a bond between the iron particle and the sulfur particle, we now have something that's not explosive. With that being said, what physical properties did the iron lose? Well, obviously its color. It lost its color. It's not quite as dark and gray. It also lost its magnetism. I can beat this around all day. They're not going to become magnetic. They're not going to try to stick to it. I can get it close. I'm not going to get these guys to move. So once it becomes bonded, sometimes atoms, particles, lose some of their characteristics because they have that little bond in between the two.